When the news broke that Diane Keaton had passed away, Hollywood went silent. The laughter, the eccentric charm, the hats, all gone. But what came next left her loved ones in complete shock. Because Diane didn't just leave behind a career worth celebrating, she left behind a legacy that made her family weep with gratitude. For more than 5 decades, Diane Keaton was one of Hollywood's most adored actresses. She was unpredictable, effortlessly stylish, and never afraid to be herself. From Annie Hall to The Godfather and Something's Gotta Give, she defined what it meant to age gracefully in an industry obsessed with perfection. But while the world saw a woman full of confidence and laughter, Diane's private life told a different story. She often spoke about feeling alone in the middle of her success. "I built my life around characters," she once said, "but sometimes I forgot to build my own story." That changed when she adopted her 2 children, Dexter and Duke, later in life. Suddenly, the woman who had played everyone's dream girl became someone's mom. Friends said she was overprotective, gentle, and endlessly curious. Her world got smaller, but it got better. Over the years, Diane quietly built an empire, smart real estate investments, art collections, and a production company that gave work to young filmmakers. Yet she was never driven by greed. She once joked, "Money's nice, but it's not love. Love's harder to find and harder to keep." So when her family gathered to go through her belongings, they expected to find memories, not miracles. Inside her study, tucked between old journals and photographs, was an envelope marked "For my children." In it, Diane had left a handwritten letter and instructions for her estate, a staggering fortune reportedly worth over $100 million. But the letter was what broke them. "Don't cry for me," she wrote. "You gave me a reason to live a real life. The money is only paper. The love we shared is everything." She divided her estate between Dexter and Duke, but also included large donations to causes she cherished: women's shelters, environmental programs, and the preservation of historic homes in California. "I made my living pretending," she wrote, "so let the real world benefit from what pretending gave me." Her children couldn't hold back their tears. Every word felt like a final embrace, warm, funny, and so unmistakably her. Friends later said that Diane had spent years preparing everything herself, organizing files, labeling boxes, even choosing the music for her memorial. She didn't want chaos. She wanted peace. In her final recorded message, she said softly, "If you remember me, remember the laughter. And remember that imperfection is beautiful. That's where love lives." For the first time, the world saw the woman behind the legend. Vulnerable, wise, and endlessly kind, her daughter Dexter later shared, "Mom's goodbye wasn't sad. It was beautiful. She taught us how to live, and somehow she taught us how to let go." Today, Diane Keaton's films still make audiences smile, but her greatest story will always be the one she wrote for her family. A story about love, generosity, and a quiet goodbye that moved everyone to tears. Because in the end, Diane Keaton didn't just leave behind a fortune. She left behind a reminder that real wealth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in hearts touched and lives changed.